Now we're going to use a microcontroller to see whether or not the connections are solid on these LEDs and see whether or not the LEDs will light up. So typically on a microcontroller like an Arduino or on this particle IO photon, you'll see that there are pads that say D0 through maybe D7, or they might even go higher. These are digital general purpose input-output pins, and they are programmable. But before I use the programmable pins, I'm going to use this pin over here that says 3V3, and that is providing a small amount of current at 3.3 volts, and it's not programmable, which means that it's always on. That's helpful for testing my LEDs, and notice that I've also got another terminal clipped to the ground. So what I'm going to do here is connect the ground to the ground terminal on my circuit, and then connect the 3.3 volt connection over to my input. And you'll notice that the LED lights up, so I know that this one works. And then I can check this one to see if that one works. It's significantly brighter. So the thing is, when you are assembling this lantern, before you program it, you just want to check it with uncontrolled voltage, with just this 3.3 volt voltage, just to make sure that the hardware works before you start trying to debug the software. So the next step is to continue to kind of construct the lamp, and I'm going to do a couple of modifications. First of all, because it's difficult to connect these terminals without at least having some flexibility in the paper, especially once I fold the lantern together, I'm going to snip these terminal pads and bend them outwards. Now, if the connection becomes weak or breaks, you might need to use a little bit of copper tape just in case any sort of creasing reduces the conductivity here. All right. So I'm going to bend these outwards, and then I'm going to bend along where the lantern was scored. Got away from me there. So that I have my four-sided lantern. And I'm not going to tape up the lantern just yet. That's kind of the last step. And the reason why is because you just want to make sure that at the point at which you're taping up the lantern, that that the whole entire thing works. So here's how it's going to look. I'm not going to tape it up just yet, and I am going to go back and test each of my terminals again. You might have to look on the inside to see which terminal is which. So once again, I've got my ground hooked up, and now I'm going to test my blue LED's input terminal and my red LED's input terminal, and they both light up, so that's good. So now that that's settled, we can tape up the lantern and get to programming the LEDs using the